Good Monday morning to you, and thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Lauren Lemanchek. Two bridge projects you need to know about before you start your morning commute. One of them getting underway early this morning. Take a look at this aerial view. The Riverside Bridge in Minneapolis is already shut down and will stay closed for 2 weeks. That bridge runs over Interstate 94. Audrey Russo's at the bridge with details.
Some of the traffic projects that we've been talking about over the course of the summer have been mostly 2 or 3 day jobs. This one behind me here on Riverside Avenue, this bridge, this is going to take 2 weeks to complete, and it's all part of MnDOT's goal to make bridges over 94 safer. Now, the detours over this highway in Minneapolis will take drivers to East Franklin Street via 26th Avenue. Bicyclists will take that detour too. Pedestrians can use the 25th Avenue bridge to 9th Street. Now, by the end of the summer, 5 bridges over 94 will be resurfaced and safer, and that timing is critical because it's bumping up against both the state fair traffic and the beginning of the Labor Day travel season. Now, by that time, MnDOT says all lanes of 94 between 11th Avenue and Franklin here in Minneapolis will be open. Now, that section encompasses the big 35W interchange. After Labor Day, MnDOT says they're just going to finish up a couple of things like installing more lighting, making some of that signage permanent, and then hopefully we should be set for a little while. Back to you.
This morning, 2 people are dead and 2 others are hurt after 2 shootings just 30 minutes apart in Fargo. The first happened just before 2 a.m. yesterday in the downtown area. Police say 3 people were shot there. 1 person died, 1's in critical condition, and another is expected to survive. About a half an hour later, police were called to another shooting about 4 miles away where they found another person had been killed. Police say they don't know if the 2 were connected. So far, no one's been arrested. This morning, a renewed call for answers. 25 years after an 11-year-old boy was shot and killed in a North Minneapolis park. Kevin Brewer was riding his bike with a friend on August 3rd of 2000 when he was hit by a stray bullet. Police say it happened following a fight between a group of men near Cottage Park. About 100 people were in the area at the time. Billboards went up after the crime and a 6-figure reward was offered, but the crime remains unsolved. Reverend Jerry McAfee presided over Kevin's funeral and felt the fear of retaliation was to blame.
We need the whole discussion of snitching to end. This is not about snitching, this is about doing the right thing.
Now, as for that reward, it's up to $150,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction in Kevin's murder. If you have any information, you should call Minneapolis police. Right now, the search is intensifying for a man accused of killing 4 people at a Montana bar early Friday morning. Officials have been closing areas around the town of Anaconda looking for Michael Paul Brown. They say they believe he is armed and dangerous and has a way to get around. Yesterday, officials also identified the 4 victims, ranging in age from 59 to 74. They believe they knew the accused shooter.
From what I have gathered, it sounds like he was a regular at this establishment. He literally lived next door. I think it's likely that he knew the bartender and these patrons, which makes this even more heinous.
Officials are now offering a $7,500 reward for information that leads to Brown's arrest. Happening right now, some extreme weather is slamming parts of the country, from wildfires in California to deadly flash flooding across the south. The Gifford fire in central California is the largest, burning about 40,000 acres. It's only 5% contained. So far, 3 people have been injured. Ranchers are also scrambling to save their cattle, but authorities say the fast-moving flames overtook some farms. Evacuation orders are issued right now in California, Utah, and Arizona. Flash flooding is the problem down south and stretching to the East Coast. This is video as several people were rescued in Maryland. But in Alabama, at least 1 person died when high water swept their car off the road. Some areas across the state, along with Georgia and Florida, are preparing for another 6 inches of rain. This morning, we'll find out whether more than 80 Health Partners employees at Stillwater Medical Group will go on an open-ended strike. This comes just a month after the group's 4-day strike in July. Union leaders say both sides have met 8 times since May, but remain divided on wages and longevity bonuses. If the union decides to call a strike, they'll have to file a 10-day notice. A huge weekend for the Lynx, and a lot of fans are still buzzing about everything this morning. So let's start with the huge trade. Minnesota is sending former 2nd overall pick Diamond Miller Carly Samuelson, and a 2027 draft pick to Dallas in exchange for Dejanay Carrington. The all-defensive guard earned last season's most improved player in the WNBA, averaging 13 points per game for the Sun. The Lynx posted a photo online overnight of Dejanay arriving in Seattle, joining her teammates as they get ready to take on the Storm, Tip-offs tomorrow at 9. Let's take a check of where the markets are this morning at the start of a critical week in the nation's capital. President Trump's on-again, off-again tariff plan is set to take effect beginning Thursday, with a baseline 10% tariff for much of the world and much higher rates for several countries like Canada, Switzerland, Japan, and Brazil. All of this on the heels of some disappointing job numbers that included an uptick in unemployment. Jay Gray has a closer look this morning from Washington.
Good morning. President Trump calls tariffs a key to a level playing field for international trade and to building a stronger U.S. economy, while opponents warn they could be financially crippling for working families as well as small businesses. The tug of war over tariffs could reach a tipping point this week.
This is truly the dawn of the golden age of America.
President Trump's controversial strategy to reframe the U.S. and in turn global markets by imposing steep import taxes on dozens of international trading partners set to take effect Thursday.
The president will decide what the president decides, but the president likes those deals. For the deals that aren't ready yet, they're going to get the reciprocal rates soon, and then we would expect that there might continue to be negotiations with those countries.
Some economists warning the higher tariffs could hit consumers.
Prices are high and they're going to continue to be high,
with the possibility of slowing the economy, leading to inflation and leaving American businesses to pay the tab.
Businesses are having to take a cut to their margins and eat some of this right now, simply because consumers are really just not standing for it.
Especially concerning on the heels of a weak jobs report. The president, without sharing any evidence or data, calling the report rigged and firing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
We'll be announcing a new statistician sometime over the next 3-4 days. We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous, what she announced.
But the former BLS chair appointed by Mr. Trump during his first term says
the commissioner doesn't do anything to collect the numbers. By the time the commissioner sees the numbers, they're all prepared, they're locked in.
Calling the accusations groundless and the firing damaging. Now, the White House says even before the latest tariffs kick in, new import taxes have already raised billions of dollars. Citing analysis from the Yale Budget Lab, Democrats push back, claiming the tariffs will cost the average American family more than $2,000 a year. Jay Gray, NBC News, Washington.
You need to check your pantry this morning. There's a big recall from Sam's Club over a possible listeria contamination in freeze-dried fruit. The recall impacts some members' Mark variety pack boxes. The FDA says issues were discovered during internal testing. So far, no illnesses have been reported. This morning, the TV world and the Twin Cities are remembering beloved actress and Minnesota native Loni Anderson. She died yesterday after a prolonged illness, according to her publicist. Reaction and tributes poured in overnight. Here's a social media post from actress Morgan Fairchild, who says she's heartbroken, adding, quote, "The sweetest, most gracious lady. I'm just devastated to hear this. Love and condolences to Bob and her kids and grandkids who she adored." And Barbara Eden, who starred in I Dream of Jeannie, said, quote, "Like many, I'm absolutely stunned and heartbroken. Our friendship has spanned many years, and news like this is never easy to hear or accept." She added that Loni was a real talent with razor-smart wit and a glowing sense of humor. Loni Anderson shot to superstardom in the late 70s and 80s, best known for her role as Jennifer Marlowe on WKRP in Cincinnati. Anderson flipped the script on stereotypes in the TV sitcom, playing a secretary that was not only stunning, but smarter than everyone else. The St. Paul native earned Emmy and Golden Globe nominations for her work. She graduated from Alexander Ramsey High School in Roseville, and in 1993 sat down with KARE 11's Pat Miles to talk about acting and her Minnesota roots. Anderson was also known for her 1988 wedding to Hollywood hunk Burt Reynolds. They shared a son, but eventually divorced. Loni Anderson was 79 years old. Tomorrow would have been her 80th birthday. Stick with us. We have more news and weather coming up after the break.